Hey folks, welcome to Chuck's Show. Today we're going to talk about a controversial subject that comes up a lot in the media. Um, that's right, the topic of firearms and such in the news. We basically have media corporations that are spouting, as usual over the years, about firearms that are automatic rifle, automatic pistol. 85% of the firearms in the U.S., as they come from our manufacturers, are semi-automatic, which means every time you pull the trigger, it lets a bullet out. Very few of the firearms we have in the U.S. can you just hold the trigger and let it rock and roll, so to speak, as we like to say. The military gets full auto. They usually have a 1-shot, a 3-shot, and full auto flip switch on their little automatic rifles. Another misnomer is they call ARs automatic rifles. That actually used to stand for the old Armalite Corporation. That had nothing to do with automatic rifles. That's something the media likes to tout. AKs from Russia are like Autovat Kalashnikov, which does mean automatic. On the versions that we were importing here into the U.S. from Russia or wherever, they were actually semi-automatic, dogged-down versions that had to be modified even to even look like an AK, most of them. AK being a generic type of firearm. A lot of states have firearm bans on certain types of firearms. Pennsylvania's per se looser than, say, New Jersey. New Jersey, you're limited to like 10 rounds or something, and you can't have a flash hider, but you can have a muzzle brake. Detachable mags per se in California you can't have unless it's a fixed mag with a funky looking grip. I mean, there's all these misnomers that go on and on and on. I am an NRA firearms instructor. I have been for about almost 20 years now, I guess. So, I mean, I know a little bit. I'm also an NRA certified range safety officer. Been doing that for a while as well. I also, at one point when I lived in Texas, was a Texas concealed handgun license permit instructor, which I took the course in Austin at the State Police Barracks. So, I mean, I know a little bit on that. I also used to be an FFL holder, so I used to have my own firearms shop down in Texas. Just want to clarify when media says basically automatic, it was an automatic rifle. It probably wasn't. It was probably a semi-automatic. Like Billy Bob's mom went and bought an automatic AR, put it in a glass case, left the key behind with her, not knowing that her son was distraught, let's say hypothetically at high school or whatever, and then he got upset one day and went out and did something very bad and wrong, which it definitely is. Sometimes blaming the firearms manufacturers, though, for the parents or whatever of said whatever is ridiculous. You should blame the parents that didn't properly lock up the firearms or dispose of them once they realized, if that was the case, that significant other or children or whoever had an issue that lives in their household. They should have done something with the firearms. Like legally, of course, but they need to do something to prevent what we've had happen over the past few years. It's kind of a sad state of affairs as far as that goes. It's my opinion that none of that should happen. It's not right. Certain firearms restrictions they're trying to make are, regurgitated garbage of the other firearms laws already on the books. Currently, there's one with the AR brand type firearms where they want to have the buffer tube. It's called what's it called? Like a pistol grip thing that you slide your arm, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head right now. But basically, arm brace. The ATF was going back and forth for the last 10 years on arm braces, which basically is a rubber thing that goes over your arm to put it on your forearm. And then they were arguing that they were legal, good to go. And then they're saying they're not legal, they're not good to go. They're saying it's like a rifle. But on the other TikToks and such that I've seen online where they've now officially let them out of the bag for the congressional hearings on these things, they're saying that even the Congress people that are grilling the ATF are unaware of what's what, and we have to check our records. Well, if you're the head of the ATF and you already are in the congressional hearing for that subject, you should have your book in front of you. And if you are the all-knowing guru head of the department, you think over the last 10 or 20 years that you've been in that business or in that company of the ATF, you would know what's what and what rulings have been passed or opinions. ATF, you send the ATF a question about something, they will send you back a notice of their idea of what it is, if it's illegal, legal, or not. So as you go back and forth on that, it's, again, regurgitated garbage on both ends of the spectrum. So you have to like really be mindful of what you're seeing, in the media is definitely not going to be what's going on per se in these TikToks that are finally, or whatever, that are finally been released that you can view, where the ATF heads don't even know which way is up. And again, like I said, certain states are very tight on their firearms laws. New York, California, New Jersey, Massachusetts, any states that go back, I'm just going to say it like this, go back to, say, the 20s and 30s with old money, that have older seated senators or congressmen, names not to be mentioned, because I like to stick around a little while longer. But basically, those states are the ones that are really, really tight on their firearms laws. And basically, when you pass a background check, you're passing a federal background check. They ask you generic questions on that form, like, have you had this? Have you had that? When the feds run your background, it's going to come down to if you have a criminal history background, if you have like a PFA, restraining order against you, or be involved in anything of that, they will deny you. It's just the way it is. If you had questionable offenses where it could go either way, they usually will give the FFL holder a note that it's on hold, which basically means in 3 to 5 days, if you don't hear back, you as the FFL holder will have the option to then sell the firearm to the person that wants it. And if the ATF decides at a later date they want the firearm, they'll just go to the person's house and get it back from that person. They'll come get your records from you on what they bought. Then they're going to go to their house and they're going to, reclaim the firearm they're not supposed to have legally because of whatever thing showed up on their background. So that's how that works, in case y'all didn't know. But I just wanted to, again, just clarify certain things that I've been seeing in the media again, where the media always misquotes firearms and their types. The terminology is always wrong. Usually, very few will say, on or off, but they almost always say, they'll forget to put the word semi in front of it, and they'll always just put automatic, which is incorrect. But anyway, if anybody would like to chime in comments, feel free to comment back on this video. I'm just keeping this a short one. I figured I'd do something a little politically, inclined, since I'm passionate about it. And you guys have a good day. ChucksShow, mind blown.